Check, 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 check. Are we
Check.
live?
Check, we live.
Are we live?
We are here.
Hey, welcome back, everybody, to another episode of... Was I on the mic? I'm sorry. To another episode of I Lost My Podcast. I am your girl, Michi G, author of the book I Lost My Mom, Now What? Memoir of a Motherless Daughter, which is available on Amazon. And we also have our other co-host.
What's up, Sweet Joan Jr.? I'm just doing what I'm doing. That's your boy, none other than Husky Hefe, the Fat Fitness Model, Jose Cortez, Jutro. Well, don't forget, you can call me Josh. It's
You
all
got
good.
another. You have another name now.
Oh my. So y'all know I do this thing where so let me introduce y'all to, well, move that out of my way. You won't see him today necessarily. So this is
Who is this?
This is Headband Hefe. And Headband Hefe is,
Okay.
he's more so this athletic. Him and the Fat Fitness Model, they battle a lot. So when you see Headband Hefe, just know work is getting put in.
Okay.
But we ain't gonna go with Headband Hefe today.
We
just want to
introduce him at a
introduce
later
y'all.
time.
But
Okay.
yeah, man.
Okay. You real different this episode, huh?
You know, usually when we doing Poetry in the Park, I tell them about Bucket Hat Blues, but it's getting a little cooler outside, so it's Beanie
Okay.
Blues.
Beanie
So
Blues. Okay.
what's up, man? It's your boy. I'm in here and I'm colorful today. I got on this light purple shirt,
Okay.
lime green beanie. I'm just doing what I'm doing. Sweet
eclectic.
Jonesy. Real eclectic.
All right, y'all. So if this is your first time listening to us, if you're listening on Apple, Spotify, or Google Podcasts, or if you're watching us on YouTube on our channel, I Lost My Podcast, and you're unfamiliar with us, we are a podcast that talks about everything from grief to mental health to bettering ourselves. Like I said, I wrote a book about losing my mother to breast cancer, and all the different things I went through. So for me, this podcast is an extension of that. We talk about different things I've gone through with grief and different realizations, self-realizations that I've come across, and I'm just basically bringing it to y'all in hopes of healing and helping others. So that's why we're here, and we got a good show for you today.
Yeah, and though I know this, the title, I Lost My, it kind of, I know people could probably make that assumption like, oh, it's just a sad podcast. Like, no, we're just working through a lot of things, and we do have fun. We laugh.
Do have fun. It's not so serious all the time.
It's not so serious all the time. We just want you to know, that life has a lot of moving parts, and we have to work through them and not be afraid to work through them. So debunking the myths of, oh, you're not strong if you ask for help, and debunking some of the things that we've been taught in the past that ain't necessarily been good for our for our people, but as people as a whole.
Yeah.
You know, so hey, if you need help, if you got to go to counseling, it's okay. It's the right thing to do. I think it's dope.
Yeah.
Though you don't need recognition from me, but I think it's dope.
Yeah. So we might as well go ahead and get into or start moving forward a little bit. Again, if this is your first time listening to us, we do have a mental health check-in because your mental health, my mental health, his mental health, your mental health is very important, and it's something that we didn't grow up actually doing, like thinking to check, like, how is my mental today? How am I feeling? How am I? So we do that before we get into topics, every topic, especially if they're heavier topics. So do you want to start with your mental health check-in, or you want me to go? I feel like you want me to go first.
Go ahead, go over.
I'll go first because he pointed out last episode that I always put it on him first. So whatever.
So I must ask, how is your mental health for today, the week? How is it?
For the week, it's been pretty good. I'm feeling better about the productivity, especially these last couple days. We got some, I won't say what we did, but we knocked a few things off our bucket list that we've been trying to do for the longest and we've been putting off. So I feel good about that. Yesterday, I felt a little, if you listen to the podcast when we first started out, I wasn't feeling my best, and I had a little sprinkle of that last night. I don't know if it's depression or anxiety or what that is, but it kind of like put my mind back in the, oh my God, is something wrong? Is that like, what's going on? Am I like just checking in and panicking about my body because I'm aware? But this morning we got up, we went walking and exploring a new park and getting fresh air and ate good breakfast, and I feel better. So I'll rate my day and say,
Your mental health.
my mental health. I'm sorry. I'll say it's about a 9. It's about a 9 today.
That's
what about
good.
you?
Okay, for the week, I'm gonna just be honest. It's been a little trying week as far as employment and things. Some people with deadlines and trying to make sure everything's squared away. So, as much as I've been telling myself to be positive and talking to like moms and friends, they just like, yeah, don't let it worry you. As much as I try not to, it's still gonna get to you because it's like, okay, I gotta answer about this. I gotta do this. So with that being said, I still took a high note. I took a high note on, like, one day I was good. I was like, whatever, screw it. Then the next day it's like, it's always something coming back. So I'm still trying to grasp that. But like you said, we got up, took a great walk. So with that walk and exploring and trying to minimalize our digital usage. So it is October, so we are minimalizing how much digital stuff we use. So with even that breath of fresh air, I'm gonna put it about an 8. Okay. About an 8. But that 2, it could be at a 10, but that 2 is really the constructs of employment.
Yeah.
So I'm not gonna lie. It's nothing to harbor on. I'm just gonna get better over time, and that's the biggest thing. So let me put this out there for anybody that's listening that may be an employer or a supervisor or anything of that nature. Give people grace and mercy to start and learn the job. Don't think because you have deadlines and somebody's new, it's their obligation. You have to give them time to
figure it out.
Yeah. To figure out the way of the room and all that, the way of the land. So I feel like that's what position I am. I'm in is people want things to be a certain way, and it's like, I gotta get in and I gotta see what's messed up. I gotta see, and I'm just trying to fill it out. So don't be trying to push me faster, harder. It's like, no, that's gonna cause a rivet in business relationships. So it's like, but my bad, I apologize. So hey, I'm gonna just go with it.
Don't apologize. It's a safe space for you to express how you feel. I do want to kind of piggyback off. That's something I forgot to mention. I think that's why I feel like a 9. So it is October. If you don't know, October is the month that I lost my mother on the 19th of October. And every year since she's passed, October has been a very stressful month for me. Like, my anxiety, everything is always high. I never feel my best. And I never knew why. So this year, I've been reading a book called Digital Minimalism by Cal Newport. Highly recommend that book. But it just got me thinking, like, I want to take a break from all social media, all digital, like the phones and computers, and just get back to being present and just enjoying stuff in real life, which is why we went to the park and we're like, normally I wake up, check the phone or listen to music, and it's like, no, like, we got in the car, we didn't listen to music, we enjoyed silence, we enjoyed the scenery, and like really was present. And the park we went to was so beautiful. It was on water, and just took in the moment of being on the water and getting back to like happiness, how we were before like phones and social media took over, because that does play a part in your mental health, especially like Facebook showing like memories on this day years ago. Like, I literally every October can remember to this day, like, when my mom got sick and declined this month, like, okay, this day we were going to the hospital, this day we were doing this, that, or the third, or whatever. And being reminded of that on Facebook and social media, it does something. I'm pretty sure that's why I've never had a good October since she passed. So that's why I said a 9, because even with signing out of all my stuff at midnight last night, and like waking up, and instead of being on the phone, I read my book, and I have not looked at anything digital. and my brain already feels lighter. So I feel amazing. I highly recommend y'all do that too at your own pace. But yeah. Also, after we mentally check in, we also do mindful breathing and stretch just to get you relaxed for our topic, so you can join in with us. So everybody, except if you're driving, please don't close your eyes, but everybody close your eyes if you can, and take a slow deep breath in and breathe out. Breathe in and breathe out. One more time, breathe in and breathe out. Loosen up those shoulders. Stretch if you can. Ignore my birthmarks. However, we don't have as much room to stretch, but if you do, like, stand up, bend down, get those hips and those arms and everything loosened up.
Get those legs
and joints
and
loosened.
hips and body.
That is my jam. I love it. Okay. So, you want to tell them about the topic?
So, ladies and gentlemen,
favorite.
This one is it's a great topic. This one is about ego.
I like to say it's a continuation of last week's episode on self-accountability.
It's what drives self-accountability, or not wanting to be self-accountable. So,
yeah.
What is that? It is your ego. She said he has a big ego.
Period. So, we do always start off, I guess, the topics, if we have a specific topic like ego, with giving a definition, just in case you don't know the definition.
So if you don't mind, I'll give the definition.
Okay.
So what is ego?
According to Google.
According to Google,
Googlist.
Ego, a person's sense of self-esteem or self-importance. Another definition is an inflated feeling of pride in your superiority to others.
Okay. So prior to reading the definitions, did you think, like, what would your definition of ego be had you not?
I really say it's the second one for me, the inflated feeling of pride and your superiority to others. That's the biggest thing with ego, is like, oh, I'm larger than life.
You're better than people.
Yeah, you bow down to me.
It's a sense of like superior.
Yeah.
Or entitlement.
Yeah.
Okay. So, with just talking about self-accountability, can you be honest about your own ego? Like, do you think you have ego? If you had to say self, I'm checking in with self. Do I struggle with ego? Because I'm going to be honest, from the outside looking into a lot of people struggle with ego. And if you told them that, you can't check them on nothing because their ego is so big.
A lot of people do struggle with ego. Now, me personally, I don't struggle with ego a lot because I've learned what it was at an earlier time in life. And I know, like, I don't want to come off as that person that's brute and just, you can't tell me nothing. I'm not. But it is areas in my life where I feel like it does protrude. So my ego, like, hey, I'm here, don't play with me. So, that's the honest truth. But what about you? Would you?
I think the same. There's some areas in my life where I can be honest and be like, okay, I'll be having an ego, or I have an ego when it comes to certain things. I'm sure we'll get into that later. But I think for both of us, I don't think we do, because we're more aware of all these things, and we've taken time outside of the podcast to really look into, like, what is ego? What is self-accountability? What is, and so we really make sure that we are holding each other and ourselves accountable for ego as well. So I don't think we do now. Before knowing really, or being aware of ego, I don't think I've ever really had a thing with ego. I've always been, like, humble and quiet and, like, to myself. So I never really, interacted with people in a way, to my knowledge, where I'm like, oh, my ego, I am this person, and I don't think I have. I don't think I have.
Okay. Well, here's a question, and I hope I'm not going off script too soon. But let's say, if you can think back to like childhood, because that's when ego starts to make its appearance.
When it forms, yeah.
Yeah, like you playing with others. Do you remember? Were you more so like the leader? Is what I'm trying to say is, were you ever playing with somebody and you was like, nah, I know I'm the leader of this? Was that?
I think because I was so quiet, I was trying to. No, I wasn't necessarily ever really the leader. I remember one time in elementary school, there was like a girl that used to try and follow me, and I would just, well, that's not ego. I would be like, don't follow me. I don't like, I have always had a thing. I don't like when people like are all up under me and like follow me around and like, but I don't think that was ego.
So I'm saying you weren't at the jungle gym. You weren't that person.
I was not the leader.
You were not at the jungle gym. Like, no, I know what to do. This is how it's supposed to go. Like,
no, being bossy, that was never me. I was always by myself playing.
So it's usually, is it safe to say, what I'm trying to get to, is it safe to say that the bossy child is probably the most egotistical child?
Possibly. I would like to see studies on that, because I really don't, I mean, without having like scientific research of studies, it appears that way, because some people do have that complex of like, I've got to be the one in charge, I've got to, or well, you could say, because there's some kids that were not like that and they were like me and just was quiet until they self, but they grew up and started maybe getting a little bit of power, and because they never was the leader, now they want to be the leader now that they're older. We're probably moving too far ahead. Too far. My bad.
That's probably, yeah, I'm sorry, guys. This, like we said, this is a good topic here. This is a deep topic.
We try to dissect.
Ego it runs rampant. Is that the word? It runs rampant in society, right? I hope that's the word, but yeah, it's leading a lot of interactions with people, and it's bad. I'm not gonna sugarcoat it. It's bad because sometimes you need to put that ego in check to see somebody else's point of view, to understand people on a deeper level. And nowadays, you
can't check nobody. Everybody think they right.
Everybody opinion matters, especially in the social media world. So some instances, things will happen and people just spark off. Nah, it's this way, and it's like, have you even put your ego to the side to say, let me think how Michi feels?
Here's the thing with conversations as a whole, and I've really sat and pondered, like, you know how we have on social media all these talks about, like, the recent one a while ago was like the submissive woman, and there was so much, girl, I would never do that, girl, I would never do this, and some women that were agreeing. And my thing with controversial or just conversing or not agreeing with people is that there is no right answer. Like, everybody's gonna have a difference of opinion because we have different perspectives. Like, there are women who, this is so off subject, but an example, who don't mind being submissive to a man because that's how they probably saw their mom doing the same thing, or just that's what they're used to. And then there's women who are like, I ain't doing that for a man. Again, that's their perspective, that's what they've seen, that's what they're used to, or maybe not, or vice versa. But you see things from your own specific lens, so you trying to prove a point and this person trying to prove a point. There is no right answer, there's merely different perspectives. So when you know that and put that into place, it makes ego like, okay, like, I feel like in that situation, ego keeps you from seeing my point and me from seeing yours. Am I gonna agree with your point? It doesn't work for me, but I see where you're coming from because I know you, and but I feel like with ego, it forces people to be like, no, this is my perspective and it's right. And so
that whole "it's my way or the highway," that's an egotistical phrase. That's an egotistical phrase.
Very much so.
Yeah, I'm not saying not take control over your life. So if you have that conversation with yourself and say, hey, self, it's my way, I'm telling myself, cool. But when you're trying to make somebody else confined,
you're trying to make yourself superior to somebody else,
or make them comply with your thoughts and your beliefs, Hello. It seems
Check
as
your
if
ego.
ego has taken the wheel.
See, that's what's wrong with the United States as a whole. Ego. Politicians, like.
Come on, man.
So yeah. So, let's just get into it. Like we said, we're not egotistical. We don't really have egos, but there are certain areas in our lives where we do recognize our egos. What area of life do you feel? Of your life, do you feel your ego comes out the most?
My ego comes out the most in creative aspects of my life. Mm-hmm. So if I'm creating a video of some sort or food, I'm gonna put food first. So if I'm creating some type of meal in the kitchen,
yes,
okay, you can't tell me this don't taste right. You can't tell me this, and it's more so to I take heed to somebody who's been in like the food industry field. I will listen, but to somebody like her who doesn't necessarily cook as good as I
like to eat. Are you trying to say I don't cook as good?
I know you don't, but
oops. Ego. First of all, I can cook now. Don't.
I'm not saying you can't cook. Okay,
just
don't
as good as you.
Listen. Let's stay the course. See? So, to somebody who I know is a rookie, when they come in and move slow and all this type stuff, I start getting into my mode, and it just start. You don't know what you're doing. I know what you're doing. Do it like this. Do it like this. Like she was like, I'm about to cook dinner, and I'm like, I let her go there. I'm smelling. I'm like, I guess she's starting, but it's something in me
because I don't move at your pace.
It's something in me that's like, oh my God, it's taking a while. So I'm like, I'm finna go up there and I'm like, well, why don't you do it like this? Do it like this. And that's where I ain't gonna lie, that's like a constant battle, is my ego in the kitchen or creating certain things like video and stuff. Yeah, it's kind of like I be trying to tell myself like, calm down and listen to their way. Like I remember season 1, take this for instance. Season 1, we make our reels, and it's a method to making the reels and certain stuff. And I was like, well, I'm gonna do it this way. This is what I think. So she made recommendations, and I was so like, what are you talking about? Like, you can't tell me like I'm what? And it was like, no, bro, just shut up and like real deal, kind of listen to her take. So season 2, most of your reels, I have to say, we give it to her. She's the real queen for season 2, and I feel like they're so much better. So it was a battle in the beginning to kind of be like, what you talking about? But I feel like the reels are so much better, and that's an instance where I had to put that ego to the side, because it would have been detrimental to like, okay, now we're not getting reels the right way. So
yeah.
So what area in life do you feel as if your ego takes over?
I'm gonna be honest and say, when I'm driving, yes, when I'm on the highway, my ego, and I think, well, we're talking about me, so I'm not gonna say other people, but for me, it's definitely driving. It's like, I don't know, how do I say it? Like if I'm driving, I'm going a certain pace. If there's certain, like when you're about to get on the interstate and you're going past certain lights, and you can tell when people are like trying to bypass everybody and like zoom in front of like other cars and stuff. And so in my mind, I can feel that, or I suspect that. And I'm like, nope, you're not getting in front of me. Nope, not doing it. And then I'll speed up, or just road rage stuff, basically. Like I don't like for people to get in front of me. And so we were driving, I kind of pointed it out, and we were having conversation. I'm like, well, what is it? Because a lot of people do that. Even when I've been trying to like, let me go around these people, they going slow, and then now they speeding up. And it's like, what is it about us that like we don't like for people to pass us, or either we'll be behind somebody who's not really going slow, we just want to be faster, or you know what I'm saying?
I think we can attribute that to the line leader thing and like elementary.
I think so.
Because you can claim that you didn't want, everybody wanted to be the line leader. Yeah. Straight up. So everybody.
Low key in kindergarten, I wanted to be the caboose. I wanted to be the last person. But I understand what you're saying.
Well, the only way I was gonna be the caboose is if I get the water fountain last and can go whenever I want. But then again, the cold water will leave first. But anyway. But I feel like that whole I gotta be first. It's that aspect of like I say from elementary being in like the line leader, and then always being hammered. And it's okay to compete, but
being the best.
I remember, yeah, that whole best aspect, like best as far as what, like people be best, be the first, and it's like no, bro, like it's been embedded in us from like
since little
to be the first. So I feel like that translates to like driving, and that's why I tell you
that's crazy.
I'm not one of those people. I learned early off in some of the stories of like some of the things that happen in traffic, somebody shooting a gun or doing this and doing that, and I'm like, it's not that serious.
He'll check me all the time and be like, are you? Sometimes I will be on cruise control, but sometimes it's just subconscious. I don't even think about it. I'm like, nope, they trying to get past me. Let me speed up. And he'll be like, all right, like, let them have it. Like, it's okay. But it really makes me feel angry. Like, why are they passing me? Why are they doing this? Why are they? But then also knowing that, I'm like, what is that in us that and I'm sure we all experience that. We're not aware of it.
Yeah, my biggest thing to people, anybody facing like that road rage, understand it's not worth your life. The objective is to leave home and to get back home safely to for your family and for those who counting on you. So you honking at somebody and cursing and flipping off and feeling like you gotta kill or hurt some, like it's okay, bro.
Like, just breathe. Now, when I find myself getting flustered when people like do the most on the road, and even when I'm feeling myself trying to be spiteful, I'm like, nope, I'm gonna go up so they can't pass me. Like, just breathe and let it be. Like,
because the things that come from like that ego take in that instance,
you can't get hurt.
Yeah, ego can take over, and now you're in a situation where you're in a car wreck. So now you got to pay for that. Now what if you ain't got that money? Now you gotta. It's like a cycle. It is a cycle of cause and effect, because you just couldn't calm down or you couldn't take your time. Like, it's not that serious. Like I said, the ego take over, and now car wreck. Okay, now you got to pay for that.
Or a road rage driver that wanted to point a gun and potentially harm you.
You harmed and hurt.
Or whoever else is in the car.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah, whoever else. So it's like, you got to think about these things. Like, don't let ego become so blinding that you don't think about what could happen. You have to think about the possibilities of your actions. So what's the possible outcomes of your actions? So, yeah.
So with that being said, it's from this conversation is the perfect time to do shadow work. If you're not familiar with shadow work, we have an episode some weeks ago, like towards the beginning of our season 2 podcast about shadow work. But that's just basically when we dive in and unpacked why this ego exists, or maybe why. Yeah, let's just dive into ego. So shadow work. What would happen if we were to literally just put our ego and our pride to the side? So, example with me on the road. Like, if I'm road rage, I'm like, nope, ain't nobody passing me. Nope, ain't nobody gonna do it. What would happen if I just said, you know what? I'm gonna do the speed limit. Do as you please. He's driving crazy, but hey, you're responsible for yourself. Like, what would happen? What's the worst that could happen if I just, hey,
is it worse the worst or what's the best?
True.
Best thing that happen is you achieve your goal, you get to your destination safe.
You're safe.
But no, putting your pride to the side and your ego to the side, like we said, it allows you to be less stressful. Because like you said, you get angry, and anger isn't a feeling that you love. Am I right or wrong?
Right.
So anger ain't a feeling that you love. You don't want to feel anger. Like, it hurts. It literally makes you. At any time I've gotten angry, I go to, man, I can feel my heart right now. Like, dang, that's a feeling I don't want to feel.
It's a heavy feeling.
Yeah, it's a heavy feeling. So it releasing that pride and ego, man, it keeps you in a happier place.
I will say, when I do have my ego, like on the road, it is like a weight on you, like tension, because you're so tense of like, no, I gotta live up to this. And maybe it's psychological, maybe it's the physical, but I think that if you just like, so let's say in arguments, let's take that approach in arguments. You say something I don't like, or I say something you don't like, or an opinion. I don't know. You've left your shoes in the hallway, and I'm trying to tell you why you shouldn't, and you can't see my point of view. I can't see your point of view. We cannot come to common ground. But it's like, what would happen if we really just sat and not focused on, okay, I gotta get my point out, okay, you gotta get your point out? What would happen if we were just like, okay, what's the solution to this? What is the purpose of this conversation, and what is the solution? Not bump ego, bump I'm right, you right. What is the solution?
We'll save time. We know time is of the essence. We'll save time, lost time, because when you think about it, you lose time being angry over the dumbest of things. And when you can take that time and listen to, okay, this is her reasoning, this is my reasoning, this is the solution, right then and there, we kill a lot of time of hurt. And because like we said, you don't want to be angry, for one. So let's say you don't put it to the side, then you angry, then you holding on to it. Now when you angry, you don't think straight. So now you done walked out the house and went for a car ride because you teed off, and now you done been in a car wreck. Oh well, look, now all because
cause and effect.
Yeah. So it's like, man, save yourself time, energy, and money.
Long story short, it's cheaper to check your ego. It's cheaper to check your ego.
It's cheaper to check your ego.
So, okay, so with the ego talk, what do you think contributes to ego? So in my mind, I think one of the things I think is comparison. Feeling like like with social media, we see a lot of people's lives, and we see certain people live a certain status, and I feel like sometimes we want to see ourselves in a light. For example, like the whole wave of like motivational speakers that we have, that I see on social media, a lot of us don't have it together. A lot of us have and know the answers, but we don't live that way. And I think that's why it's important for me to make this podcast the way we make it. Because it's like, yes, we have the keys, we've assessed, but I'm going to let you know that sometimes it's a struggle with me, but we're going to talk about it and we're going to work through it. But I feel like there's a certain standard to like, well, I've got to live this life and I've got to like match it. So comparing myself, I put a sense of entitlement and ego on myself. Like I'm superior like they are because I agree with them. So you talking to me, you don't see my point of view. It's my ego. Like, you get what I'm saying?
Yeah. So, I really do.
Comparing yourself to other people.
I really do agree with that. Comparison, that is the birth of the ego. Comparing yourself to others. Because, and here's the thing, I'm reading the book, The Courage to Be Disliked. I'm looking at it right now. And they talk about the inferiority complex, superiority complex, and they're talking about, right now, I just read a recent section and it talks about don't do others' tasks, and notice it's about yourself. So that comparison to others, we have to kill it. We have to kill it. Like, you're trying to be the best version of yourself. It's not me trying to compete with what's that place? So with my cheesecakes, it's not me trying to compete with Cheesecake Factory. I'm not. Good job to them. Hats off to them. I'm doing what I'm doing for me to make sure that I'm creating some great, some flavorful something for the people that they can enjoy and indulge in. It ain't to be better than a Cheesecake Factory. Okay, I want to be big ass a McDonald's corporation with my things. It's not me to beat. I don't want to beat McDonald's.
Comparing,
I'm not McDonald's. I'm a whole different realm.
Entity,
so it's like you got to realize that it's about self and improving on yourself day in and day out. It ain't about others.
Yeah.
So I can say back in the past, like that was a driving force
for your ego.
I'm gonna be better, like you said. People be having the keys to like this motivational talking and all that, right? Like you know the stuff, you know the right stuff to say.
But are you doing it? Are you doing it?
Are you living it for you? If you're not living it for yourself,
for you, it's the big part.
You shouldn't even be a motivational speaker to motivate nobody. Your motivational speeches and stuff should be to motivate yourself.
Your goddamn self. So
because in the end, that's who you got to answer for, self.
Yeah, for sure. And then also I think another one is the ego, or like rage contributes to ego too. Because like, I don't know, how do I say this? I feel like people don't unpack enough things about themselves, and so on a normal basis, like, we unpack different issues we have, so it builds like anger or rage, and we build a sense of entitlement, and it comes out. Like, so that's why when you have conversations with people, they not trying to hear your side of the story, they trying to be loud and right in their mind. And it's like, I don't know what kind of anger you got going on inside of you, but calm down and see that, like, I operate out of love. I'm just trying to get you to see my point so we can make a solution. Mm-hmm. That's it. So I definitely think anger or rage contributes. And then subconscious entitlement, if I can make that a thing. I think that a lot of us, myself included, walk around sometimes in certain scenarios where we're like, subconsciously, it's like, I'm entitled. Like driving. Like, I feel like nobody deserves to pass me. I feel entitled to, like, no, like, I'm on my own path. I want to go fast. There's a car in front of me, even though, like, I don't have to be going as fast as I'm going. He's in my way. I'm a zoom fast and get around him for what? And it's like, for what? So I think that those to me are three things that have to do with, contribute to ego.
So I want to pose a question. I know I'm probably off script.
Please be, my favorite thing.
And in a sense, is ego needed?
Ooh.
Is ego needed? Because I feel like, I know we're talking about it and we're harboring on it and we're beating down that negative ego, but in some cases, I feel like ego is needed to jump. How did you get what I'm saying?
Well, so yes, but I was gonna pose a question within a question.
Okay.
Because I was gonna answer your question, but it brought me to ask another question, to unpack your question.
So you raised my question. Okay.
I raised your question with a question. Is there a difference between your ego and being confident? So having an ego about what you're doing and being confident in what you're doing. Like, do they go hand in hand, or is there a difference? Because to your question, I wanted to say yes, ego is needed, because, you gotta, if you know that you're the bomb in what you do, yes, it's needed, because I'm not saying be humble, and no, sometimes you gotta pop your stuff. But then I'm like, wait a minute, that's more so confidence. So is confidence needed, or like, is there a difference between ego and confidence?
Let's define confidence.
I don't know. I think that they're probably like first cousins or something, but I don't know.
Okay. Let's see. Let's go to the research.
Let's ask our research department. What is confidence according to Googlers?
So according to Google, confidence is the feeling or belief that one can rely on someone or something, firm trust. Also, it says the state of feeling certain about the truth of something. Also, it states a feeling of self-assurance arising from one's appreciation of one's own abilities and qualities.
So to go back to ego's definition, that's a person's sense of self-esteem or self-importance, or an inflated feeling of pride or superiority to others.
That's why I go with that second definition for ego, because I feel like it separates the two. From that first definition, we could say ego and confidence is one and the same. Now, confidence, I like what it says, the feeling or belief that one can rely on someone or something.
Like a firm trust, or standing firm in like what you do or what you...
So it's also knowing, and it also appreciation of one's own abilities and or qualities. So I'm confident in my abilities and qualities to do something. Now, egotistical, feeling pride or superior, that's the problem. That's the difference.
Feeling like you're better.
Yeah.
Or so you got it, entitlement.
That's the difference between confidence. Confidence is just saying, I'm confident in my qualities or my gifts,
my ability to do something.
My abilities to do something. Ego is saying, I know I have the ability and I'm the baddest in the land and you can't tell me nothing.
So if we do that, in my opinion, And sometimes I live in a fairy tale world in my head. But in my opinion, in my world, in my perspective, I don't think ego is needed. Why can't we all just be confident in what we do, but that don't mean that I'm better than you or I'm superior to you. You know what I'm saying?
So,
but that's my perspective.
I'm gonna take the opposition and say ego is needed in some instances.
Okay.
Especially in a fearful situation.
What you mean?
What I'm saying? So I feel like, me personally, which I could be wrong. I'm look, guys, we are not professionals or anything of that nature. But I'm saying that in certain situations, an ego can help you. So, okay, say it's October, right? Mm-hmm. Get scared, get spooky. You done saw all the scary movies. Mm-hmm. But let's say you in one of those scenarios. At this point, I need confidence. Okay, I'm confident. Confidence is there, but I need my ego to say, I'm superior to all these mofos. I'm finna make it out. So in certain situations, like, I'm superior. Like, you got to use it as a tool to get you off your butt. Okay. So you got to use it sometimes as a tool. It's not always bad. It's just you got to know when to use it and when to shut it down. If you let it protrude 24/7, that's when it gets evil and overbearing.
Okay.
So you know what I'm saying? Like at a poetry event, like, or you performing or something, you like, okay, it's not. At this point, I know I'm about to go on stage. So now my ego finna take over and say, I'm the baddest mofo in the land. When I step on this stage, I'm about to go crazy. And when I step on this stage, I don't see nobody. I just see myself doing what I'm supposed to do. And once I'm done, I'm putting my ego back in check. Like, all right, calm down. Sit and watch these other people perform. Like, my ego be like, when your ego could take a bad turn in that situation if you like, okay, I did it, now I'm gone. Okay. Now I'm gone. I don't care to hear. Like, no. I put my ego right back in check after I'm off that stage, because I'm like, oh, I can learn from some of these other poets and other artists or actors or actresses. Like, let's see, let's observe. So ego, you can use it.
There's a good and a bad side to ego.
I feel like you can use it to be courageous and get that fear out the way. You need that.
I don't know. I still personally stick with confidence, though. I don't know if for me, if the ego would work in that case, but you know.
So okay, no. So let's real deal look at it, right? So what's something you've been wanting to do but you haven't done?
Open mic poetry.
Okay, so look at this situation. Are you confident in your skills?
Writing, yes. Performing, no, technically right now. But I don't know. I haven't performed it, so my confidence. Now, if I get on the stage, I'm gonna have to trick my mind to be like, "No, you confident."
So what are you tricking your mind with? Is what I'm trying to ask.
Oh, you're saying the ego is what you gotta trick your mind with.
Your ego has to come forth and be superior. Maybe it's superior to yourself. Let's say we have alternate selves. Like, maybe it's superior to your weaker self of being like, "No, shy." Now you have to have that ego to wake up and be like, nah, we finna step on whatever. So you know what I'm saying? That's what I'm saying in instances where it's like, okay, I'm afraid to jump. So we doing this. We doing this. We're locked in. So let's say your makeup. You confident in your skills?
For sure.
You confident, right?
For sure.
Are you confident?
And am.
So you trust your skills, your own qualities and abilities?
Yes.
Right. Okay. So we know that you gave your makeup business a little halt, right? Am I correct?
Well, some people don't know, but yes, I did. I did.
That's cool. Well, now y'all know, because it's Mike's Super Show. So you gave this thing. Why would you say that you attributed to giving it a break?
Well, at the time when I initially decided to stop doing makeup, I guess I wasn't as confident. Now that I've like taken a break and I've done it more on myself, I'm like, I'm actually a beast. So I guess why I stopped initially was because of COVID, for one, but also getting in my head like, you don't know what you're doing, or like people are maybe picky about your makeup, even though everybody's makeup I've done have been like they love it. In my mind, I was like,
now, right there. I want to stop you. You said you get in your head and that negative self-talk starts saying you ain't good enough. But you know you're confident, right?
Yeah, now, yeah.
So that's where I'm saying ego has to step up and step in and be like, to that other self, that negative self, that ego can be positive too. That ego can be like, I'm the baddest, man, I'm the baddest that touch a brush.
Yeah.
You better stop playing with me.
Yeah.
And so that's where I'm saying we have to use, you confident, but sometimes ego can be that last step to help you be courageous and hop off that porch.
It's the tool to boost confidence. It's like the fuel to confidence. Is that what you're saying? Okay.
So it's like, okay, you jump out there, you get you some makeup looks because that ego done talk that negative self down. But once you done, you still go back into your bubble and you learn more. Don't let that ego protrude and be like, okay, I can't learn from somebody like a Makeup Shayla or Jackie Aina or Patrick Starr. Shout out to
How
I know all
these
y'all.
beauty influencers. Listen, shout out to the husbands that pay attention to their wives and their interests.
So
shout out to Lil J.
Shout out to Lil J, man. Who else I know? Hold on. No. Dang. I don't know.
That's all right. That's the main ones that I started. Those are the main people that taught me how to do makeup.
So basically. In that instance, can you see how ego can be?
I do now that you explained that. I do. Because in my mind, I'm not going to lie, I have a negative connotation on ego because I know a lot of people that have ego and they don't want to check it. And so in my mind, I see ego as evil. I'm like, no, it's just basically ego and entitlement are the same things for me. But I never looked at ego like that.
But if we checked it more, you just stated, if they check their egos more, then we'll be in a different boat.
Yeah. So, bada boom, bada bang. So, I in researching ego more, I came across some questions to discuss, and these just to cite my source, these questions, most of them, 4 of these 5 questions came from the Global Guy Talk, or at globalguytalk.com. He has a guide on conversations on ego, so I thought it'd be fun to talk about some of those. So question 1, how does it feel when someone questions you in front of others? Do you end up getting defensive, or do you practice realization to see that you were in the wrong?
Oh, well, I'm gonna be honest. I'm not really questioned in front of a lot of people. I try to,
like even on the job, or
I'm not questioning in front of a lot of people. Okay. I'm just gonna keep it funky. But in that instance, can I take that step back and self-realize? Yeah, I don't get defensive. I try to listen, and it is. In most instances, it's valuable when I have been in like a situation like that. It's valuable to listen and listen attentively because, okay, I may be wrong in something, but I'm also gonna rebuttal to ask, okay, well, what is this? Or pay attention closely because somebody could be messing up something on their end. So in the case of if I'm in the wrong fully, oh yeah. I know, Josh, come on.
I'm going to be honest on this question. And my mind goes to work. So I'm going to be honest. My initial reaction is to get defensive because I feel like I work so hard and I know what I'm doing that like it is a hit to the ego of like, are you trying to talk like, not that the person may be like, they may just be critiquing, hey, you did this wrong. But my mind is like, you don't know what you're doing. Like, so I get defensive, like, oh, well, I make an excuse. Or like, well, I just did this and that and da-da-da. But I recently am starting to get to a point, even with like work colleagues, like even if I have to point out that they did something, like I'm trying to get better with being like, don't be so... well, you did this wrong. Do this better next time. Like, you know what I'm saying? Not that I'm super bad about that, but it's a way to say things.
So that's in this realm of work that I do now. That is a big thing. Somebody coming back and questioning. I do get I'm gonna tell you, I do get defensive, and it's because I'm more so in the email world, and it's question on question on question. But to the people that's posing those questions, I get defensive because also I'm solution based, like we stated earlier. If we come with a solution versus, okay, this is the problem, you did this,
and we focus on the problem.
Let's stop focusing on the problem and focus on the solution. I literally had an instance where, okay, I got an email, Josh, you forgot to do this. Okay, I'm a human. Okay, well, Josh, I see you didn't do it, but you had this, and it's like, bro, I'm a human, so I'm telling you, I told you, hey, I took it on the chin. Hey, I did wrong. My bad. My apologies. How can we go forward? That was my neck. After that, it was like, okay, after the first time, cool, I acknowledge it. The second time, okay, now it seems as if you're being very condescending and nitpicky. So at this point, I'm finna state, okay, I acknowledge once again, but what is the solution moving forward? All I can do is focus on the now and the forward. I can't, the past and already happened. So, and that's where I feel like it is a thing, especially in work, when we aren't being solution based, yeah.
Okay. Let's see, what's the next one? Do you find it difficult to apologize? If so, what do you do instead? So like in your example you just gave, do you, if they're coming to you and telling you, hey, this was wrong, that's wrong, and you're solution based, like you acknowledge and all that, do you apologize?
Yeah. I apologize, and if I'm not apologizing, because sometimes I'm growing and I am getting weary of all these apologies. So when it comes to work, all these apologies I'm not really detrimental or hurting no one. So I kind of try and in certain situations watch all this apologizing. But I acknowledge. That's the biggest thing. So I'm going to acknowledge my part, and once I acknowledge my part, that's when I'm like, okay, what's the solution? And it's not difficult for me to acknowledge my part because, like I said, I'm sitting back and I'm listening or reading attentively and focusing. And if I can recall the instances what happened and it was something that I did, okay, I acknowledge it. That's me. But nevertheless, watch with those apologies, because like sometimes a lot of things don't warrant apologies. That's something deeper that I want to explain later on once I get the whole thing. But
yeah,
all that apologizing gets.
I don't think it's hard for me to apologize. I think I'm what you're talking about. Well, my mind goes to work. I apologize probably too much, and I'm like, it's not even my fault probably, but just because it's a natural thing to do when somebody presents a problem. For me, instead of being solution based at work, which is ironic, I just go to like, oh, I'm so sorry, but I can do X, Y, and Z or whatever. Or but I'm trying to think, prior to being so aware of all these things, have I found it difficult to apologize? I don't think so. I guess I'm a weird case because I don't really have conflicts with like you or like friends too much. I will say one disagreement I had with the friend group that I kind of talked about on the last episode, where she felt left out of something, and that moment it was hard for me to apologize. I was more so trying to get our point across and get her to see how we were not doing that intentionally or maliciously or anything, instead of just hearing that, hey, just include me, that's it. But I could have apologized and be like, apologies, I hear you, moving forward, this is what we're gonna do. But I didn't. I just was so pressed on, this is my point of view, see my point of view. So, but now, no, it's not difficult for me to apologize.
Yeah, I think I know as of here lately in different workplaces, it's certain words and things that people try not to use because of the negative connotation. It's okay to apologize, but I think that's also something that I kind of want to debunk and dive deep into. Apologies versus acknowledgement.
Because our apologies needed.
Yeah. And sometimes apologies are so much more heartfelt. So it's like, did I really do something to hurt you? And in cases of business, and in cases of business, like, you really don't do much to hurt someone, but you just gotta acknowledge your mistake. You get what I'm saying? I don't know if that makes sense, but
Understood.
we all have to acknowledge our roles. Acknowledge our roles. So apologize and acknowledging. I'm gonna find a way to debunk that. But
Another episode, another time, another season. So the third question is, do you hide parts of yourself from others, like attributes, behaviors, or parts of your appearance? I'll say that I think I have a way more fun, let loose, funny like side to me that I don't show a lot of people, that I do hide from people. Like, I actually like to dance, but I don't dance in front of people, if that's what they're talking about. How can you hide your appearance? Oh, not how can you hide your appearance. There are some people that probably hide certain things about their appearance, but to answer that question, yes, I think that I do. What about you?
okay. Well, first, okay, let me give you an example. So I sat in this office with all these big wigs, and I called the meeting. That's what's crazy. So I called the meeting, and I was like, yo, this is what I found. And I had one guy say to me, you come off as, I didn't know you knew all this. And I ran some numbers because I was talking about my salaries and stuff. And he's like, well, I didn't know you knew all this. And where's this coming from? So in an instance, I do hide certain attributes of myself because I have to read the room.
Like, you're smarter than you actually are when it comes to certain.
Well,
you're smart. That's not what I'm saying. But to like higher ups, like company, like the CEOs and stuff, that may not, because they assume you just a worker.
most higher ups and stuff will assume that you are not intelligent, and that's their flaw. That's flaw number one. But I'm the person that's gonna read the room and figure out, okay, what is it to be done? In that instance, I think a lot of guys, they have this ego, or guys or girls, will have this ego and come in like, I know everything, I'm the best, blah, blah, blah. Like, no. I want to know what you know, to know if I know what you know and more. You get what I'm saying? So in that instance, that's where I keep my ego in check from, like, I know I be knowing my job, but I know I also have to know, well, what is it that you think I should be doing? Or what is it that, you know what I'm saying, to make sure I'm not missing nothing. And if I am missing something, to know how to communicate. So in certain instances, you won't get the full Joshua, because Joshua is multifaceted, but also a very, like, I play chess, dog. Like, I listen and I learn and I observe things. Like, it ain't no time to be a dum-dum and hurting somebody. And like I said, because of this, it's all these moving pieces. So it's like, okay, I can't move here. So yeah, I hide things on intentionally. Intentionally. And I think anybody should go in there, check your ego at the door, because hey, if you let that thing out, and the negative version of it, okay, it's gonna come with some stank on it. So
it's gonna come with some stank. So question 4, are there certain attributes or things, and I think a lot of his questions were written for men, so I think I'm assuming, because all of them literally were referring to men, are supposed to be for men to answer about their egos, but we're just gonna play it neutral. Are there certain attributes or things that a man is expected to do, or woman, that you don't feel you live up to? How does that feel? What does it do to your self-esteem? Are there certain attributes or things that a man or woman is expected to do, that you don't feel you live up to? For me, I will say cooking. And to be clear, I do know how to cook. It's just like he stated earlier, he is like the husky chef. Like he's a boss in the kitchen. So a part of me does get more, I don't say intimidated, but like I guess in my subconscious I'm like, well, he know what he doing and he know how he want it done and he just quick with it, so I'm gonna just let him do it. But even though I'm supposed to be a wife, I feel like sometimes, like in my head, I'm like, I should be cooking more than he is. But you really love to cook and you love to create, and I don't. I'm just trying to fix a meal to eat. You know what I'm saying? So I feel like for me, that's probably, I guess, an attribute that women are expected to do that I don't live up to. And that is my ego, because I could very much match his energy. But a part of me is like, I don't want to get in your way. I don't want to, So, yeah. Why this face?
Because that face is because I'm really trying to think of what's something that a man's
supposed to live up to.
I'm gonna say I can't answer this question, because me as a person, I've grown up to realize there's no such thing as gender roles, dog. Mm-hmm. There's no such thing as gender roles. So the media portrait of what a man and husband is supposed to be or to do, like, I mean, I already do that. Mm-hmm. I already do that. So
you feel like, according to society, you protect, you provide. I agree. What's something the media said? You're not supposed to cry or you feel like you're strong and you're like, you always got it together. Like, I know several men will say, nope, I can't grieve, or I can't vent, because a man is supposed to keep it together, and we supposed to, because if I express how I'm really feeling, the family gonna fall apart. Like, do you feel like, I feel like you defied that as well. Like, we very much have been vulnerable with each other, and I consult you, you consult me.
It's been a time where I've cried in front of my wife.
For sure.
And it is what it is. And sometimes I've been on this kick where I'm just so grateful, like, just to see life, like, shoot, to be talking to somebody about something different and relating to people. Like, I get tear jerked like that. I don't know. You can call it weak, call it what you want, but it's like, once you understand this life thing and gratitude, bro, like, to interact with somebody on a personal, just to smile and laugh, or know that I can help you or you help me, like, bro, that is beautiful. So it ain't nothing that I ain't afraid of. So.
You feel like you live in a husky Hefe's world, and
I'm living in true God body energy. Straight up. So I'm good. My self-esteem. The one thing, I'm just trying to get back out there on the stage and do my acting thing and my poetry thing and all this type thing. So yeah, I'm just about to turn up, and I'm not afraid of that. So here we go. Hello, yellow.
And the last question, which I came up with, this is to ask your partner. Ooh. Prior to this episode, do you think I struggle with ego? Could be in different areas of our lives. I think we kind of talked about it a little bit, but in your opinion, do I struggle with ego?
Of course, you acknowledge in driving situations. Yes, I be trying to get you to calm down, as well as my mama. I try to get her to calm down. But I can say in the beginning of, like, our podcast and, like, YouTube channels, your ego really showed. I would try I would like try to mention certain things and be like, no, it got to be this way or this way, because you felt confident in what you watched on YouTube and researched. And me, I was on the other end of, like, let's just do it and put stuff out, and you was like, no, be meticulous and blah blah blah, and it's like, let's do it. Now I'm getting the attitude and being like, no, I'm not. So in the beginning, it was things with media and stuff like that, but other than that, it's no real. Well, makeup. Sometimes you get a little egotistical, thinking you better than me. I'm way better than you in makeup. So
you can do my makeup.
I can do your makeup.
We did do. If you're not following me, I have my own personal YouTube channel, Michi G. Look that up. But he did my makeup one time. I'm not gonna lie. That's when I was a rookie. That's when I was a rookie. He didn't do that bad, but you're not better than me. You're not better than me. Period. And that's
listen,
on
bro.
who? Mirhella Lim.
Listen, bro, I'm better than her in makeup, bro.
Absolutely not.
Like, y'all can't see your boy. I'm telling you, I'm charging, but
Absolutely
I got you.
not.
You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely not. But we gonna let you think what you think.
Well, what areas of, I guess, flip the question.
Of your life? Well, you were spot on. Like in the kitchen, you do. Like I must say that. Well, just for sake of, because we've also gotten to the point where we don't make excuses. But if I had to explain why I don't be so eager to get in the kitchen and cook meals, or like maybe I get down on myself like, darn, I know you come up with some meals some part of the week, but then when I try to come up with meals, I'm like, I don't know, my brain, because I'm trying to live up to your expectation of like what you cook. Like you can literally get in the kitchen and we have like 4 ingredients that have nothing to do with nothing, and you got a gourmet meal, and I'm like, bro, all we got is these 4 ingredients. Like my mind don't be that creative when it comes to food. It comes to like basics, like, you know, my meal, my go-to meal, and I don't know what to do, is like salmon, potatoes, and broccoli, or some type of green, you know what I'm saying? And he'll have like stuffed stuffed chicken.
Flambe. She didn't know.
Like, what the green?
She thought,
like, what?
Look, I told her one time, like, yeah, he flambéed that. So she just bust out laughing, like, bro, what the, you don't know. And
That's
I'm
a
like,
funny
look it
word.
up. And it was actually, you can flambe some.
Flambe,
So whatever.
stuffed crust chicken with the peppercorn crust.
But nah,
and,
see, that's the thing though. As we go back, you said that ego is comparison, looking at others.
no, for sure.
But
I looked at you and I was like, bro, I can't do this. I can cook, like, so I think I kind of talked about it on, maybe it was an episode of like childhood F-ups, how like when my mom was sick and it was mainly me taking care of her, I could step up like it's nothing and cook meals, cook, because she needed that, and I was the strong person that had to provide for her. But like in our household, you're the stronger person in the kitchen, so I'll be like, well, shoot, let me let him do his thing. And I guess I do compare and be like, okay, I can't cook on his level. Like I can assist, but I'm gonna challenge that within the month of October and the rest of this year and next year. I'm coming for Husky Hefe in the kitchen.
Okay.
Cause he trying to come for my makeup. So
I'm gonna say this straight up. When it was pertaining to moms and cooking for moms when she was going through it, that's when I had to put my kitchen ego to the side, because I had to listen to you. And that helped me, because I had to listen to you be like, okay, we can't have certain things.
Yeah, I had a book about how to beat advanced stage cancers, and it had a list of foods that contribute to tumor growth and foods that helped with like shrinking tumor growth. So I got to a point where we were like, we got to only create meals out of this list, because we cannot have her tumors grow no more. And
I was on it, my boy.
We was both on it, like, no, we got to make this flavorful.
I got my girl.
Barely want to eat.
I got my girl to eat avocado, and she
tore that avocado salad up. I think it was like a Baja salad.
A Baja salad I made just for her. Like, it was crazy, but there was an instance where I had to put my ego to the side and be like, okay, for the betterment of myself, my wife, her mother, and the family, like, okay, what do we have to do? So
solution based.
The old Josh could have been like, nah, we gonna eat this, bro. Shit. Nah, bro. Nah, sometimes
you're trying to save a life. You gotta check that ego.
You know what I'm saying? Like I said, she finally was eating good meals when we was cooking. So
yeah,
you know,
flavorful. Cause she was like with chemo. If for anybody watching that has had breast cancer or any cancer, had to do chemotherapy. Chemo, I've heard, makes food taste like iron or like not metal for you. So for her to actually say like our meals gave flavor, like,
and we literally like a month or so prior took her to like what was it, TGR Fridays, and we like, try this guacamole.
She's like,
her little face,
it ain't Joshua's.
This ain't I'm not. And we like,
she's like, I don't know the people that made it.
That's my dog. I miss my baby.
Man. But yeah, so let's go ahead and close the closing question. What can we do to put our egos in check? What is the worst that can happen, or the best that could happen if we check our egos? I feel like after having this conversation, I will say, I think shifting the focus for yourself. So if I'm talking to whoever, shift the focus from I have to be right to what is the solution. Like, to realizing there is no right answer. I have my perspective and the way I see things. They have their perspective and how they see things. But there is no right answer. And if there's conflict, what is the solution? Now, I say that, but I know that depending on the topic, even the solution can be a complex thing. And I wish I could think of an example, but sometimes even the solution can be different based on the person's perspective. So, you get what I'm trying to say? Like, but I think that being more solution-based can check an ego, because with ego, in my mind, it makes people want to be like, oh, I'm right, I'm entitled, and it's like, who cares? Like, what's the solution? So that's my.
All right, so with me, I would say, what's the question again?
What can we do to put our egos in check? What's the best or worst that can happen if you check your ego?
I'm gonna take the stance of, if you, let's say you about to get ready and go into like a networking event or something like that, put your ego in check by saying, I'm gonna go in here and listen first. Like, listen first. Because you don't want to go in there balls of fury and blazing on fire and no, I'm this. No, listen first. Once you get a good listen of what's going on, or of the area, or work the room, and see certain conversations, then you can start adding your tidbits and knowing that, okay, if I have to use my ego, it's just no, don't even choose ego, choose confidence. Trust yourself, your own abilities and qualities. And the best that can come from it is you won't come off to people as arrogant or
a know-it-all,
cocky, and because that can be, you know what I'm saying, detrimental to your business that you're trying to start, or to the perception that they have of you. Because unfortunately, everybody has their own perception of somebody, and when you're interacting with people and you're being all egotistical, that's an easy pickup. So go into any situation willing to listen and understand. Listen and understand first. So tell yourself, listen and understand first. So
I was gonna say, we closing out the topic, but there's a book, and whenever I read this book, or we read this book, because sometimes we'll read the books that we're individually reading to each other, so it's like we're reading multiple books at the same time. But once I read this book, and it might be my next read after my next read, but we probably need to bring this conversation back, because I feel like ego is so much deeper and complex than we're portraying today. There's so much that we know, but there's so much more that we probably could pull from the subject of ego. So the book that's on my reading list, I don't know if you can see, I have a list of all the books that I gotta get read before this year. I don't know if it'll happen, but no, I do know it's gonna happen. But it's Ego is the Enemy, The Fight to Master Our Greatest Opponent by Ryan Holiday. I'm reading that book. I've read previews from it, and I'm just like, man, I'm ready to just dive in deep and like forget our egos, bruh, to an extent, the negative side of egos.
Like I said, I'm reading The Courage to Be Disliked, and I'll probably show y'all that book in a bit, but it talks about the
Icaro.
I'm gonna show it to y'all. Yeah. But I know you won't be able to pronounce that, but I most definitely like that book, because it takes us from, it's comparing the Freudian psychology versus the Adlerian psychology. And Freudian psychology is a lot of cause and effect. I know I used earlier in this podcast to talk about, if you do this, this can happen, blah blah blah, but that is true. But in some instances, we're so versed in Freudian concept of cause and effect that we can say something off the wall like, okay, because I take off my hat, the ice gonna fall in the ice maker. That's where it becomes a problem, because we're too. So that Adlerian psychology kind of teaches more about like the inferiority complex, the superiority complex, like how it's needed in some instances, how it's not needed. So I'm gonna show y'all that book in a bit. But I think what we got to do, podcast.
We're gonna go to Poetry in the Park.
So with that
Poetry
being said,
in the Park.
it's not
Poetry
my time.
After dark. It's my time.
It's not my turn
It's my time.
for Poetry in the Park. It is Meaty G's turn for Poetry in the Park. So without further ado, let's get to this park and get it cracking.
Hey, get your snaps and claps ready.
Get your snaps and claps ready. Get your drawers, your TV, and let's go to the park.
Not your drawers.
Wham.
This is Michi G, and this is Poetry in the Park. Take whatever. Let's go. Ego. Have I checked mine today? Because everybody's saying I'm the problem. Can't be. They don't ever get my point or how I'm right, but I'm gonna make them see. I'm trying to tell you how my upbringing is the reason why I act this way and can't change, but they don't get it, and neither do I. But you see, I'm too fly for their problems, but they're saying it's me. Can't be. I shine like better days and lukewarm weather in the September, October months. But why does chaos follow me? Set in my ways, I'm not supposed to change, so y'all just gonna have to deal with it. You know, they say ego can equal entitlement, but it's also the cousin of confidence. How you want peace, but can't come to a conclusion to find a solution in your arguments. Like I deserve to be right, but all right. I guess Beyonce was right when she said, I talk like this 'cause I can back it up, but I don't have a big ego. Not me. Can't be.
Alrighty. Hey. We are back.
Bizak.
Was you looking at the camera?
I don't know. I think I was.
Anyway, guys, so I hope y'all enjoyed that poem.
Yes.
I really did.
Thank you. Did you really like it?
It was alright. It wasn't mine, but oh, my bad. That's my ego. That's my ego. That's my ego. No, I'm just playing. It was beautiful. It was beautiful. But before we about to get on out of here, we ain't gonna hold y'all too much longer. But before we go, I did want to show y'all this book. It looks like this.
Let me hold it.
Well,
can you see? It's the lighting, maybe. It's the lighting.
Yeah,
but it says the courage to be disliked, if you could.
Yeah, the courage to be disliked. Maybe if it's back here, I don't know. How to free yourself. Look it up. How to free yourself, your life, and achieve real happiness. And it's by Ichiro Kishimi. Kishimi. And Fumitake Koga.
I apologize if we messed that up.
But yeah, what is it?
Halfway done. Hey y'all, I made his bookmark. Y'all like that? A husky reader.
Yeah.
Dang, y'all probably can't see if you're on YouTube.
So we got bookmarks for sale. So if y'all want bookmarks, contact us.
Coming soon.
But yeah, we also wanted to show y'all, like we said, in October we're not big on social media. So it's due in part because of
this book right here. This is the one I'm reading.
Minimalism
by Cal Newport. Yes. Charlemagne, I was listening to The Breakfast Club, I think, which I didn't know because I don't follow Selena Gomez, but apparently she had not been on social media for 3 years, and she had finally come back. Was it this year or the end of last year? And so it was on the Rumor Report on The Breakfast Club, and Charlemagne just mentioned like Digital Minimalism by Cal Newport, and I was like, anytime he recommends books, I like write it down and like add it to my book list, because if you know Charlemagne, when he first came out to now, you can tell he's changed his life, and you can tell he's read books to better himself. And so that's one of them. And I think he recommended a book called The Shallows, I think. And that one, according to him, is talking about how we don't know the effects of social media and what it's doing to our brains and our bodies and when we do figure it out, it's going to be too late. So I don't know, my mind right now and trying to be a better person is just seeing, because earlier in the year when I was going through my stuff, like social media really played a big part. So I'm like adamant about getting back to living life without social media and like true happiness, because my mental health, I need to keep it at an 8 or above, and that's contributing. So
Yeah. So two
highly
books.
recommend those two.
One was The Courage to Be Disliked, How to Free Yourself, Change Your Life, and Achieve Happiness. And the other was Digital Minimalism, Choosing a Focused Life in a Noisy World
by Cal
So,
Newport.
I think I should bring back the book club, man.
Do y'all want a book club? We had a book club, or he had a book club on his personal YouTube channel where we did Sacred Woman, and didn't we do another one?
I can't even remember.
We did like a couple, but we had a book club. If y'all interested in the book clubs aside from the podcast, and again, these are things that have helped us to mold ourselves and check ourselves and egos and the way we live our life. So if y'all want a book club, let us know. Let us know. We'll make it happen.
But
with that being said,
it's coming to an end, guys. I love you,
so
my friends.
Farewell to you, my friends. Goodbye
For now, until we meet again. All right, it's been real, man. Shout out. I am your boy Husky Hefe, the Fat Fitness Model, Jose Cortez, and this is
your girl Michi G. Follow me on Instagram at it's Michi G. Even though I'm not there for the month of October, follow me anyway for my return.
And I'm SL Josh Mundo. I'm not putting the clip in here this time. So just let you know, if you want to, do what you got to do. I may have lost my podcast, but I found myself losing my ego and talking to you.
Period. And we love you.
Peace.
Big hearts.
Like that. Big hearts.
Big hearts. That feels like a gang sign.
Well, we're out.
Bye.